What's up everybody, welcome back to 2nd Street. Now it's been a few weeks since we got the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, and you've probably seen 100 videos of the top 10 things that you missed in that trailer, but I'm going to tell you about the things that they missed in today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning into the 2nd Street Marvel today for the top 10 things nobody else is talking about in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Now, as I said, I come up with a small list of things that other people aren't talking about from the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, and we'll see if I actually make it to 10 or not. So, here we go. Number 10, Peter Parker's passport. Now I know what you're thinking. Everybody's talking about Peter Parker's passport, right? Yeah, sure, it's missing dates, we all know that. But let's ask ourselves about what particular dates are missing here. For one, we know he had to go get a passport to go to Germany in Captain America's Civil War. Tony Stark even asked him about this as he went to recruit him to take him to Germany. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that given the circumstances of Civil War, Tony Stark wasn't about to go and break more laws and take Peter to Germany without the proper documentation. I also want to point out that at the time Peter Parker was 14, possibly 15 years old, as we've seen him say in Spider-Man Homecoming that he was 15 years old when Stark originally said he was 14. Now this being the case with laws in the United States, you can easily look this up. If you get a passport and you're age 15 or under, you have to get a new passport in 5 years. The relevance this has may be of very little relevance, but I'll get to that in just a minute. So we can make the assumption that Peter Parker has a passport that would only be good for 5 years, and this trip would certainly fall within that 5 years, and he wouldn't need to go get a new passport. So this makes me think that maybe after the events of Avengers Endgame, there are some things in the past that have been altered. And that brings me to my next point. Number 9, Happy Hogan on the airplane and that big check. Okay, now I don't want to go off and assume that Happy Hogan is a dirty guy who don't change clothes and take showers, but if you'll pay attention, he is wearing the same suit carrying that big check that he is when he's sitting there on the plane talking to presumably Peter Parker. We don't know for sure that it's Peter. Now I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this happens towards the end of the movie, and I'll touch on more on that in just a little while. But one of the other things that makes me think this is maybe Happy Hogan just picked Peter Parker up and was dropping him off, and I'm thinking maybe Happy Hogan picked this dress up for Aunt May.
New dress?
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
In London and gave it to her just before they went to this charity event. Hence the awkward situation here.
What just happened?
And you might be thinking, Peter's wearing the blue and red suit, and I'll touch more on that in just a minute. Number 7, that photo Peter Parker is taking in front of Stark Tower. Now as we know, Peter Parker does get a job taking photos of Spider-Man, and maybe this is to allude to a future that he's getting ready to do that. Now he is in high school still, and I can't imagine him getting a job at the Bugle quite yet, but then again, we don't know all the ramifications of Avengers Endgame, so I guess we'll wait and see. Number 6. How did Nick Fury find Peter Parker? Now we all know that Peter Parker and Nick Fury come back after the events of Endgame obviously, but these two have never met, which is obviously alluded to here in the trailer.
So nice to finally meet you, Spider-Man.
But I also kind of wonder, how did Nick Fury find Peter Parker? Well, I'm going to touch more on that in just a minute as well. Which leads me to number 5. Why is Mysterio following this school trip? Well, we've heard that Mysterio is going to be working with Spider-Man and that Nick Fury is going to be the one hooking him up. Now, this might be true, and I kind of think that that's going to be an odd thing to flesh out in the movie, but it does seem a little odd that Mysterio happens to be there in the first attack and he's being put to work with Spider-Man, to which I would guess that he would catch on to, why are we following around this group of high school kids traveling through Europe, and why is he attacking these kids on that trip through Europe? I'm telling you, he either knows who Peter Parker is more than just working with Spider-Man. Number 4. Why the stealth suit? We can all safely assume that Nick Fury gives this suit to Peter Parker, but why? Now my best guess is this. We see in the one scene the goggles flip down over Peter Parker's eyes. Now this looks like it's the attack in Prague, as it looks like it's at nighttime, and we see them at the carnival at night. Okay, now maybe that's going a little far, but let's just go with that for now. I'm guessing that Nick Fury gave him this special suit along with these special upgraded goggles so Spider-Man doesn't just fall under the influence and can see through Mysterio's illusions. And that's just my best guess. There may be other reasons why aside from being stealth and being able to see through the illusions, but that's going to take me to the next topic. Number 3. Why the red and black suit? Now I'm thinking that this suit is an upgraded Stark Tech suit. I'm thinking that Happy Hogan took this to London to give to Peter Parker before the final attack in London. And yes, I do think that the one in London is the final attack, and I will touch more on that in just a minute. But why the upgraded Stark suit? My best guess is that Tony Stark developed this new suit, integrating some of the things that S.H.I.E.L.D. did to protect Peter from the elements and Mysterio's illusions. Number 3. Why the reference to Hydro Man and Sandman? Supposedly these villains are supposed to be based on the elementals, but that's not Hydro Man and Sandman, and they would have been premiering at the same time as the elementals in the comic books, so why those Easter eggs? Well, I have a couple of guesses with that. One of them is maybe these guys are people who are helping Quentin Beck cast these illusions. Or maybe they've had freak accidents just like they did in the comic books and are actually these people. But my best guess is they're probably just helping Quentin Beck out. Now maybe there's some elementals too. Perhaps that's the attack in London. Maybe after all of Quentin Beck's games, maybe there was some actual entities out there that kind of got upset and decided to reveal themselves. And at this point, the fit hit the shan, and Mysterio and Peter Parker may actually have to pull forces together at this point to battle this elemental. Number 9 is Berlin. We can see on the poster that was released as promotion for the Spider-Man Far From Home movie that there are all these different stamps on it of the places they're visiting. One amongst them is Berlin. Now this would make me wonder if it was from when Peter Parker went with Tony Stark to get Steve Rogers, but I'm not sure who it was. Somebody did point out that there is an actual date on that Berlin stamp. So apparently it does happen on this trip. Now I could be wrong here, but I believe that brings me to number 1, and that's the timeline. Now the timeline is something that I haven't really heard anybody else mention, but I'm going to give you my quick breakdown of what I think the timeline is going to be as far as their trip in Europe. My best guess is that Venice is their first stop, as we see Peter and Ned talking on the airplane, and Ned is wearing the same clothes that we see him wearing on the boat when they arrive in Venice. This also happens to be the same clothes that they're wearing, presumably as they are checking in at their hotel in Venice. And then after the attack from Hydro Man, we see them all sitting around watching it on TV, and we see Ned wearing that shirt with the bear on it that he was wearing when he gets shot in the neck with the dart by Nick Fury.
Yes! Got a fucking dart in your neck.
And I think maybe Peter Parker put on the Spider-Man suit and came out as Mysterio came to save them, and possibly put himself on the radar, and that's how Nick Fury tracked him down. Now my second guess is the Swiss Alps, just based off that poster from the Spider-Man Far From Home promotion. After that, I believe they head to Prague, and in Prague is where we see Peter and MJ flirting with each other, walking down the street, and they're in the theater. And also I believe this is where one of the elementals or Multiman attacks that, as it looks like it's nighttime when he appears. This is also where the carnival is at, and Peter Parker is wearing the stealth suit. And I believe this is probably a big turning point in the movie. Now I think they head to Berlin next, but I don't think we got any shots of that in the trailer. Now I will say that I believe Berlin was the first place they started shooting Spider-Man Far From Home. Now after that, I believe the last stop is London. London is where Spider-Man has on the black and red Stark suit, and it's kind of where I think there's really gonna be the big battle. And as I was saying earlier, I think Happy Hogan possibly drops off that suit to Peter Parker here and picks up a little dress for Aunt May that he gives to her later in the film. But that's all I can really gather from this first trailer. Now I could be off on some of these, but let me know what you all think down in the comments below. What do you think about the timeline that I laid out here? And what do you think about the other 9 things that I mentioned in this video that other people aren't talking about? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now before I let you all go, I want to tell you all about the Mountain Man Nut and Fruit Company. The Mountain Man Nut and Fruit Company are the purveyors of fine nuts, dried fruits, chocolates, and candies. If you go to the link down in the description, you can shop from over 300 items and have them all delivered to your door in the greater United States. Also, while you're down there, check out the social media links for Vigilantes for Children, or even go to their online store and pick up a shirt or a decal or even a hat so you can show your support for their cause. Now, as I said, I will be doing a giveaway. As soon as we hit 100 subscribers on this channel, I will be giving away a digital copy of Sony's Venom. So make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so you get notifications anytime we have uploaded new content. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend so we hit those 100 subscribers even faster. And invite your friends to come visit us here on 2nd Street. Have a great day.